holidays approach, families, especially parents, are particularly worried. Canadians have been through a lot. They work hard. We see that.
Taking a holiday from some taxes, the Prime Minister delivers a pre-Christmas gift to Canadians.
Tonight, temporarily lifting the GST from some essential items. The politics of the promise and the process to make it happen. Good evening. It's an announcement meant to appeal to cash-strapped Canadians.
The tax break impacting everything from groceries to children's clothes to diapers and will last for 2 months. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more details on the holiday relief and its legislative hurdles.
A major affordability announcement. Today, Justin Trudeau revealed Canadians will soon be getting some relief at the cash register.
Everyone had to tighten their belts a little bit, and now we're going to be able to give a tax break for all Canadians.
For 2 months, starting mid-December, the federal government is removing the GST and HST where applicable on restaurant meals as well as on dozens of consumer goods. Among the items where these taxes won't be charged are grocery store snacks, beer and wine, children's clothing, video games, puzzles, toys, and Christmas trees. Trudeau also announced plans to send rebate checks to 18.7 million Canadians who earned $150,000 or less last year.
If you haven't filed a tax return, file your tax return by December 31st. That will make it possible for us to send you that check for $250.
The government says the GST holiday will cost them $1.6 billion and will require legislation. To pass it, the Liberal minority has secured the help of the NDP to break the procedural stalemate in the Commons, but just long enough to get the bill through.
We want to see this relief done as quickly as possible, so we're prepared to pause the privilege motion that's being debated in the House for 1 day.
The Conservatives were quick to characterize the pocketbook pledge as inflationary, but aren't saying if they'll support it.
And today, what we have is a 2-month temporary tax trick.
Cost of living is still a top issue for voters, and pollsters say there could be some political gain here for the Liberals. But because it's time limited, there's also a risk.
I think the pressure will be on them to probably keep this in place, especially if talk of the town here in Ottawa is that we're going to be in an election in the spring.
The consumer tax break is slated to stay in place until mid-February, and the workers' rebate is set to roll out in April, right around the time of the next carbon tax increase. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
It's an announcement that certainly has people talking. CTV's Siobhan Morris joins us live now with all the reaction. Siobhan.
Well, the people we spoke with on the street, they like this idea, even though it's not a life-changing amount of money. The politicians at Queen's Park, though, they're pushing for longer-lasting change. On his way out of an economic speech, the federal moves got the approval of Ontario's premier.
Any tax cut's a good cut.
The finance minister jokingly taking some credit for the federal rebate after he announced a similar payout last month.
We came up with a $200 rebate, but you know what the federal government can do? Is scrap the carbon tax. I mean, that is taking money out of people's pockets.
Urging the feds to go further, something the Prime Minister doesn't intend to do. On the street, people welcome the tax holiday and promises of cash back, even if they're a little jaded about the whole thing.
Maybe it is a little on the nose, but maybe it might be helpful.
It does seem to me to be like a bit of damage control maybe on this government's part, but I won't complain about it. Money's money.
Maybe it'll be a little bit of help to people.
Not enough help to make ends meet.
I don't think it would go that far, but it would help a little bit.
To opposition party leaders, their promises that smell like election season.
These are all one-time, short-term deals. They're not going to really help people and make lasting impacts in terms of affordability.
We have a provincial government and a federal government who are both trying to distract from the fact that they have failed to address the #1 affordability challenge.
The cost of housing.
Rent has gone up by 83% since 2018. Mortgage amounts have gone up by 45% since 2018.
But progressive Conservatives insist they've done a lot to bring down what it costs to live in Ontario. The finance minister says that includes a cut to the gas and fuel tax, eliminating the fee to renew your license plate, the One Fare program, and yes, those $200 checks set to roll out early in the new year. Reporting live, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. And we have more on this story online. To see a list of some of the goods impacted by the tax break, head to ctvnewstoronto.ca.
We turn to a significant development in the investigation into the death of a baby at a Midtown apartment.
Police have now charged the child's mother. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live from the building at Roselawn and Marley Avenue with the latest in the police investigation. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. As you mentioned, we do have more details about the death of a baby boy who lost his life tragically after he was reported missing from this Midtown apartment building yesterday. Police tape seals a garbage chute and the door of the apartment beside it as an officer stands guard. Meanwhile, a special constable sits outside the compactor room on the main floor.
I saw the kid, I knew the dad, and you know, it really got to me. Emotionally, I'm drained. I'm saddened, really, really saddened. I didn't have a good night last night.
Residents who live on the 8th floor where the 4-month-old went missing saying they've lost sleep over the infant's death.
Shaky. I feel like I want to cry. I put a candle in the window last night.
Police say the baby's father reported the boy missing yesterday morning. Officers arriving at the scene, a Toronto community housing building at Roselawn and Marley, just before 11:30 a.m. The baby was located soon after and life-saving measures were performed, but the infant would be pronounced dead in hospital.
He was shaking like a leaf. He was very, very upset. He was just going, come back, come back.
William says he saw the child's father in the lobby around 5:30 a.m., calling the child's mother. A woman police have identified as 30-year-old Karessa Edwards, who has been charged with failure to provide the necessaries of life.
I've seen her once or twice in the hallway, and she's skipping along, giggling and stuff like that. I was like, hello. She goes,
Edwards appeared in a virtual courtroom today via phone from a Toronto hospital.
I'm surprised and I'm kind of shocked at the same time.
A publication ban regarding any information divulged in court today is in effect. At this point, we can only say that Edwards' bail hearing was put over until Monday and that the investigation continues. Reporting live from Janice Golding, now back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janice. And Toronto police are on the scene of the city's latest homicide, a deadly stabbing in Scarborough. This happened at a home in the Agent Court area on Whitney Castle Crescent near Finch and McCowan. Emergency crews got the call about a stabbing, and police say they found a man with injuries who was soon pronounced dead. The victim's 32-year-old son was arrested at the scene. A woman who identified herself as the older man's sister said he was 66 years old and her nephew had been struggling with his mental health.
Then I told them, take him to counseling or doctor. He don't like to go.
Police have yet to announce specific charges as the homicide unit investigates.
Also tonight, a cat falls from a 19-story apartment balcony and survives. The astonishing incident and the critical care made possible by public generosity.
Turning to other news tonight, she is back. Taylor Swift has returned to Toronto.
The second leg of her sold-out show is about to kick off tonight. Her heavily guarded motorcade made its way down the Gardiner this afternoon, headed for Rogers Centre. Toronto police provided several vehicles for the rolling closures. The Eras Tour once again taking our city by storm.
The concert venue alive with activity tonight. This is where T-Swift is set to thrill tens of thousands of fans for the next 3 nights. And CTV's Zoraida Allman is taking in all the excitement and joins us live. Zoraida.
Sure am, Mish. You know, we were here for night one when Taylor Swift first arrived here in Toronto a week ago today, and there was an electricity in the air down here outside of the Rogers Centre. And I'll tell you, tonight, this is now for show 4, the second leg of her 6-show tour. The excitement has not died down. There is a sea of Taylor Swift fans out there. A whole new flock of fans, but the same kind of energy, the same kind of excitement, the sparkles, the costumes, the outfit. There's a giddiness in the air. There's swapping friendship bracelets, everybody bonding over their shared love for Taylor Swift. Now, we know these fans have been traveling from all over the world and across North America. They're not just Toronto fans. She is certainly an entertainment mega star. She's also big business for our city. The boost to our economy projected to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. CTV's Mike Walker has been outside there talking to fans all day. He's in the crowd just behind me, a few meters away. And Mike, I'm pretty sure you're getting swept up in all of this Taylor Swift excitement yourself.
That's right, Zaretta. I am definitely embracing the experience with fellow Swifties. I got a pretty good friendship bracelet collection going on here. And, you know, as you said, the atmosphere here has been electric all day. Even with some rain earlier in the day, Swifties have been gathering here, the excitement building for night 4. And when it comes to spending, a new report found that it has increased in the downtown by nearly 60%.
I be a fearless leader. I be an alpha type.
From sing-alongs in lines
What's that like?
to exchanging friendship bracelets, the energy in the city is buzzing again as the Eras Tour heads into its final 3 nights.
It feels like a piece of history. I feel like when we're looking back like 30 years from now, it's going to be one of those concerts like, you know, I was there.
Heather Fryer and Sandra O'Connor are hoping to have an up-close moment with the pop superstar. The sister-in-laws from Michigan have front-row seats and have been working on outfits for months that they hope will catch Taylor Swift's attention.
That was part of the goal with the outfit. I made a skirt for every era, so they tear off, so I'll have a different outfit for every era.
Jenny Gibson just arrived from New York after spending thousands for tickets on the resale market. She tried several times to get tickets for shows in the U.S.
It means everything. This is a trip that I've been planning for a long time. Her music means so much to me. I'm probably going to cry like 10 times, but I can't wait.
And when it comes to Swiftie spending, a new Monaris report found during the first 3 shows last week, spending in downtown Toronto was up 57% week over week. Spending from international visitors more than doubled, up 126%.
The real big notice is on foreign spend. So a lot of people are coming to Toronto. The biggest increase is actually in clothing stores, accessory stores, and a surprise one here was movie theaters and other theater productions.
The flights, hotels, concert tickets, drinks, I would guess $3,000.
Wondering if I get there quicker.
For Swifties, there is no budget.
Who knows if she's gonna perform again, and
memories are priceless.
Restaurant spending didn't move much, but at the Rec Room, the general manager says business is up 25%.
So we've noticed that there has been a volume increase from our regular week to her being in town to drive more people coming for lunch, dinner.
Businesses also banking on Swifties who don't have tickets, still looking to take in the experience. And outside the Rogers Centre, fans are still searching for tickets.
Listening to the radio as we speak, trying to get tickets, it's a struggle, it's a challenge.
Some have been here every concert night.
As you can see, fans are still filing into the Rogers Centre. Some 50,000 fans are expected to attend each of the last 3 concerts over the next 3 days here before Taylor Swift then moves to Vancouver next month to end the Eras Tour there. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Zaretta, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I've got a friendship bracelet to swap with you later on tonight. Let's have a look outside right now, and it's pretty soggy today, that's no doubt. Yesterday we saw the rain, today continuing to see that rain this evening, but it seems all the heavy rain has held off just in time for fans arriving for the show tonight. Speaking of swapping friendship bracelets, I know someone else who's been doing that all day. Jessica Smith has been talking to Swifties outside of the Rogers Centre. The rain held off just in time, Jess.
It really did, and it is cool outside, but I don't think people really care all that much because it's just so exciting. The atmosphere is electric down here. I'm here with even more Swifties. Your first name?
Lindsay.
Cassie. So they saw Taylor a couple years ago. They have a picture here on their t-shirts with Taylor. They don't have tickets yet being the key word, but what is your favorite song and era?
Oh, well, definitely Reputation. We dressed up as Tide Pods. She was singing This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things when we got picked to meet her, so that song will forever be a great memory.
And for you?
Same, Reputation. This is why we can't have nice things.
Ladies, good luck on your ticket hunt. The forecast for them, I think it's nice. It's a little cool outside, but overall, we're doing okay, right? We're layered up. We got the Swiftie spirit in our souls, and that's really all that matters. It is dry for now. The rain is holding off, but we're not done with active weather just yet. It is potentially returning as we head through the rest of our evening, but for the most part right now, we're doing pretty good. Temperature-wise, we're kind of around that low single-digit range, which again, very seasonal for this time of year. As we head through the rest of our evening, temperature-wise, it's a little fresh, but really and truly, it's not too bad. The rain returns as we approach midnight, and we have more on the way tomorrow. Your full forecast coming up right now. I'll send things back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jessica. 50,000 fans fill the Rogers Centre for these concerts. She's got 6 of them, so by the time we're done with this 6-concert series, 300,000 fans, or thereabouts, have seen Taylor Swift in concert, and still there are thousands more fans who were not able to get tickets. But the downtown core is still offering lots of entertainment for Swifties. Many who aren't here to see the concert are coming down just for the vibe, to hang out with other fans, and just really to take in all of the excitement. Swifties have been packing into this downtown core for tonight's concert, but there's also the tailgate at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, and there's also other fan events going on. So the TTC is running extra service on the subway and surface routes as well in this area. Go Transit is adding an adjusting service to help these attendees get home after the show. There are also dedicated drop-off points for concert goers around the Rogers Centre, but there are also some road closures to keep in mind if you are traveling by car. The city is only allowing local traffic on parts of Bremner Boulevard, Blue Jays Way, and Navy Court Wharf to support crowd control. The Gardner off-ramps to Spadina will also close at 9:45, and Front Street will close at 10 between John and Simcoe. Roads are expected to reopen at 1 a.m. this morning. There's still lots more celebrating left to go. Again, this is the second leg of the tour. There's more Taylor Swift coming up this weekend, and we've got more for you coming up later in this newscast. Still ahead, amid the eye-popping price of Swift tickets on reseller sites, an MP is calling on the feds to crack down on the problems plaguing the Canadian ticket landscape. That story's coming up. But for now, we'll send it back to Nathan and Michelle in studio.
All right, thank you, Zoraida. Well, police services from across the province gathered in Oakville to launch the annual Festive Ride campaign. Police will be hitting the streets across Ontario, keeping an eye out for drivers who get behind the wheel while impaired by alcohol or drugs. This comes as the OPP say 44 people have died this year in crashes on the roads involving impaired drivers.
One of our messages today is that we're going to do everything within our means collectively in this room, from Ottawa, North Bay to Chatham, to take these criminals off our roads.
Ontario Solicitor General Michael Kersner said impaired drivers will be caught and urged motorists to make better decisions this holiday season.
The top war crimes court has issued arrest warrants for Israel's prime minister, its former defense minister, and a Hamas leader. It is alleged all 3 committed crimes against humanity. CTV's Genevieve Beauchemin reports.
But for the foreseeable future,
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now an internationally wanted suspect, along with the defense minister he fired 2 weeks ago, Yoav Gallant. A decision Netanyahu called an anti-Semitic step, and this a dark day in history. The court alleges Israel used starvation as a weapon of war in Gaza and of intentionally directing an attack against the civilian population. The court also issued a warrant against the leader of the armed wing of Hamas, Mohammed Deif, alleging he was involved in murder, rape, torture, and the taking of hostages, though Israel has said he was killed in an airstrike in July. Hamas ignored that allegation but celebrated the warrants against Israeli leaders as evidence it had international justice on its side. Some Palestinians called it a historic decision, but also expressed skepticism the world would help arrest Netanyahu if he traveled internationally. Israel and its closest ally, the U.S., are not among 124 member nations of the ICC and said it had no jurisdiction. But Canada is a member.
We are one of the founding members of the International Criminal Court. We stand up for international law, and we will abide.
Often divided, political parties in Israel united in rejection of the decision. Supporters expressed outrage.
An arrest warrant against our prime minister, the only person in the Middle East that's really leading to fight terror.
But this also raised questions about further condemnation of Israel on the world stage. Genevieve Beauchemin, CTV News.
It's not seen as a game changer in Moscow's war on Ukraine, but an experimental Russian missile was fired at the city of Dnipro today. A medical center was hit, an industrial area damaged, and 2 people were hurt. Kyiv said preliminary evidence suggested an intercontinental ballistic missile was used in the strikes. But the U.S. later said it was a type of missile with a smaller range. Regardless of its classification, Ukraine is asking the international community to react quickly to the use of what it says is a new type of weaponry.
The Foreign Affairs Minister is welcoming Donald Trump's pick to be the next U.S. ambassador to Canada. Mélanie Joly says Ottawa looks forward to working with Pete Hoekstra to strengthen bilateral ties and advance shared priorities. The former Michigan congressman was nominated yesterday, but will still require confirmation by the Senate. The U.S. president-elect chose Hoekstra to serve as ambassador to the Netherlands during his first 4 years in the White House.
Meanwhile, Matt Gaetz has withdrawn his name from consideration as U.S. Attorney General. The former lawmaker says he does not want to become a distraction to the incoming administration and insists the Justice Department must be ready to go on day one. Gaetz resigned from the House of Representatives late last week. Now, he lost support from many fellow Republicans for having orchestrated the ouster last year of former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Gaetz was also the subject of an ethics committee probe into allegations of having sex with an underage 17-year-old girl. He's denied wrongdoing.
Ontario's premier says all provinces and territories want the federal government to negotiate a trade deal with the U.S. that excludes Mexico. Doug Ford told reporters that yesterday following a phone call with his counterparts across the country. Today, the Prime Minister said he is not closing any doors.
We will fight for Canadians. We will secure Canadian jobs and Canadian growth long into the future. Ideally, we do that as a united North American market. But pending decisions and choices that Mexico has made, we may have to look at other options.
The provinces and territories have asked for a meeting with Trudeau's government to discuss the issue. Doug Ford says Mexico is bringing in cheap Chinese parts, putting Made in Mexico stickers on them, and shipping them into Canada and the U.S. He says that leads to job losses in this country, but he says there should also be a separate bilateral trade deal with Mexico.
In Iceland, a volcano near the capital city is erupting for the 10th time in 3 years. Photographs show the intensity of the eruption as lava gushed from a long fissure. As magma accumulated underground, authorities had warned of imminent volcanic activity on the peninsula. The capital city has not been directly affected by the eruption and has not sent a significant amount of ash into the air, avoiding air traffic disruption.
Back here at home, it's an incredible story of survival involving a 1-year-old cat.
She fell from a 19th-story balcony. Her injuries were serious, but after weeks of care at the Humane Society, she's pulled through. Her recovery, they say, nothing short of miraculous. CTV's John Musselman has the story.
They say cats have 9 lives, but this little girl may have 19. That's how many floors she fell from an apartment balcony.
She had broken many bones in both of her front paws, and she'd punctured a lung.
Her name is Lara, and she's about a year old. The balcony fall was an accident. She landed in some bushes at ground level.
Part of it is luck. Cats do tend to fall on their feet, but 19 floors is a long, long way. I'm sure the bushes probably broke her fall a little, but I think luck had a lot to do with it.
The Humane Society is respecting the owner's privacy. The person couldn't afford emergency veterinary care. That's when the Toronto Humane Society got involved.
So the ability for us to be able to reunite her with her caregivers who did everything they could, they just couldn't afford the emergency care in the immediate aftermath. They did the right thing in bringing her into us. We were able to help her out, and then we're able to reunite her with the loving home that she already had.
After emergency treatment and 2 weeks of care, Lara is well on the road to recovery.
See, she's happy, she's seemingly healthy, and she's coming along with her recovery really well. She no longer has the splints on, she's not wearing a cone, she's really in the final stages.
For cat owners in high-rise buildings, staff say this is a reminder to take precautions if you're letting your cat out onto a balcony.
I'd say balcony falls don't happen all the time. They're not terribly common, but they do happen from time to time. So it's really important that people, if they are going to be letting their cat onto the balcony, in Toronto, not many of us have too much outdoor space other than our balconies, that they do their best to try to block it off so that this can't happen to them. So there's a lot of netting products that you can get that can really close in the area and make it more safe.
Lara will be receiving foster care for a few days before she is reunited with her owner. John Musselman, CTV News.
Coming up, transforming an abandoned transit hub. Big changes are coming to the downtown core as the city announces a massive redevelopment plan. We'll have those details.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, as fans get ready for another Taylor Swift show in Toronto, there are calls to overhaul how tickets are sold in Canada. Politicians want an investigation into Ticketmaster, and there's a petition to crack down on ticket resellers. I'll have my reports just ahead.
And it has been a fairly above a seasonal month until now, but we are trending a lot closer to where we should be. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast as we head in towards the end of the work at school week and look ahead to your weekend. And stay with us. We have another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
There is no doubt that Taylor Swift concerts have left many fans overjoyed, but sadly there are also people who've been caught up in ticket scams.
Ticket fraud and sky-high prices for concert seats have some politicians calling for changes to the way tickets are sold in Canada. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. The popularity of Taylor Swift has highlighted several problems with how tickets are sold. They're difficult to get, are super expensive, and ticket reselling leads to scams and fraud. One politician says it's time to end the price gouging.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
Many fans lucky enough to get tickets to see Taylor Swift had to pay a premium for their seats. In the weeks leading up to the concerts, many fans hoping to buy tickets got scammed.
I was just scammed. I mean, I was embarrassed.
My heart is, it's really broken. Not for the money, for the kids.
I wanted to go there so badly. And it just turns out we didn't get to go.
Fans desperate for tickets turn to social media sites with no guarantees, or ticket resellers like StubHub, which charges astronomical prices.
A lot of families are looking towards this event for being part of a fun thing they would do, and they feel even shut out from the process.
Federal NDP critic for industry Brian Masse says the current system for ticket selling in Canada encourages greed and profiteering. He's calling on the federal government and industry minister to stop price gouging, saying scalpers and bots have been allowed to scoop up these highly sought-after tickets and resell them for thousands of dollars each, far out of reach for ordinary people. I'm calling on you to launch an investigation into Ticketmaster and the ticketing industry.
It's not good for artists. It's not good for the economy. It only helps underground elements that actually get money and revenue through this.
Sponsored by a federal Green Party MP, a petition has also been started calling for better protections for ticket buyers. Portugal, Spain, and Germany have limits on how much tickets can be resold for.
We've seen other countries across Europe, but also in the United States, where they limit the resale value for this. And they also put in place conditions about how many tickets can be bought.
Massey says the merger of Live Nation and Ticketmaster eliminated competition and needs to be investigated, saying the current system isn't working.
Knowing that a bot or some professional ticket scalper or a salesperson is going to actually profit off you or block you out of the process just isn't fair. And then on top of that, having Ticketmaster and others benefit from it is totally unacceptable.
And in Portugal and Denmark, tickets cannot be resold for more than their original price. In France, unauthorized ticket reselling can lead to fines of more than $40,000. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, for those who got a Taylor Swift ticket at a reasonable price or had to remortgage their house, the time has come. The superstar hits the stage tonight for her 4th show here in Toronto.
Swifties are making their way inside Rogers Centre as we speak, and those without a ticket are outside taking it all in.
Jessica Smith's been talking to fans all day amid the wet conditions. What's the vibe been, Jess?
The vibe has actually been really good. I was a little concerned, earlier on. It was a little drizzly out here, a little cool, but it really hasn't changed the energy of the folks down here. We've been seeing people handing out bracelets the entire time. It's been a ton of fun. And although it is a little cooler, I don't think anybody really is all that concerned, because I have seen the same Taylor Swift fits we saw the first night, and it's much cooler tonight. But temperature-wise, it is just seasonal after all. We've seen this kind of transition take place as we made our way through the last couple of days. Right now, sitting at 4 degrees here here in the city, 1 through Windsor and 5 out through Ottawa. Now, as we head through the overnight, we are watching for some showers to return. It is a little soggy as we get past midnight, so for likely some of the Swifties heading home, a little bit of rain, but again, I don't think any of them are too concerned. As we head in towards the day tomorrow, another slightly above seasonal day, but the difference is we're looking at a gusty northerly flow to the wind, with those winds right around 40 kilometers an hour. So it will have an impact, I'm sure, on the people coming to the show tomorrow. You can see that low pressure system swirling there, rotating counterclockwise. That's bringing the active weather today, and then the troughs, those dotted blue lines, that's bringing the chance of showers overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. Timing everything out for the rest of our evening, again, it's not too bad. We get through about midnight. We're watching for some spotty showers in and around the GTA, and that's how we start our Friday morning, so give yourself extra time for that commute. Now, getting in towards our Friday, it's spotty showers again, but the difference is the wind. It will be quite impactful as we head throughout the day. We head into our Friday, our night, and into our Saturday. More showers, you guessed it. We're into this unsettled stretch right through to the end of the weekend. So keep that in mind. It will impact your commute. Now, temperature-wise, we'll sit around 8 degrees again into the end of the day. Into our Friday, into our Saturday, into our Sunday, and then as we make our way in towards next week, I don't want to alarm anybody, but that is a rain-snow mix on Tuesday. But as temperatures take a little bit of a dip, it is going to get significantly cooler. So not a measurable snow by any means, but something to keep in mind. Your weekend, though, holding on just above seasonal. The Swifties are taking their selfies. I'm going to try to get into a selfie here. There we go. But you know what? I don't think anybody's concerned. Are you guys excited to see Taylor Swift?
Absolutely.
I think they're a little bit excited. I'm going to send things back inside to you guys. We're going to get into another selfie. Can we take another picture?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Ready, guys? Hold on. Say cheese. Say, hey, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. Thank you.
Perfect. And fun little souvenir for them. Thank you, Jess. Also tonight, full accessibility for all ages and abilities. We check out a groundbreaking apartment building in Etobicoke designed to meet the needs of the deaf-blind community.
Cycling advocates have converged at Queen's Park tonight.
They're there to remember those who've lost their lives on the road and to speak out against the plan to remove bike lanes in the city. CTV Scott Lightfoot joins us live with the details. Scott.
Hundreds of cyclists descending on Queen's Park just a few moments ago. They started their ride at Bloor and Spadina. They had a bit of a rally there, and then they headed down here to Queen's Park, circled around, and then came on the grounds where they took out the ghost bikes and gave a little speech. These ghost bikes, one is in honor of a 13-year-old girl who was killed on her bike in Ajax back in November. The other is for a 47-year-old woman who was killed on her bike in Kingston last month. Now, usually ghost bike ceremonies are done at the site of the incident. However, they're doing them here at Queen's Park because they want to draw attention, of course, to Bill 212, where the provincial government wants to pull bike lanes out of the city. Many of these cyclists fear that if bike lanes are removed from Toronto streets, there will be more fatalities. Here's what one of them told us.
If you remove the only barriers we have between motor vehicles, then the conflict points grow exponentially. And so will injuries, collisions. It'll be a big problem for vulnerable road users, but also for motorists. Like people aren't out there trying to hit folks, they're just trying to get around, but this is going to be mayhem.
And that, of course, was David Shelnut, who's known as the biking lawyer. I asked him what legal options they might have to fight this, and he said there really aren't any because this is a political issue, not so much a legal issue. The ghost bikes were supposed to be placed here at Queen's Park, but security told them anything that gets tied down will be removed immediately, so they were placed slightly off property, a lasting memorial to 2 lives lost. Reporting live at Queen's Park, I'm Scott Lightfoot. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Scott. After a crash last month left 4 people dead, the city will now be closing the right lane on Lakeshore Boulevard to traffic. The closure will be from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. through Monday, when it'll be closed 24/7 going forward. Officials cited concerns about uneven pavement and speeding in the area. City staff will assess the pavement conditions and investigate repair options. A new construction project began in Etobicoke this week.
It's a housing development specifically built for residents who are blind and deaf. CTV health reporter Pauline Chan has the story.
I also play the drums over there, too. 82-year-old Nazar Strejko has been living in Rotary Cheshire Apartments for 32 years. It's the first independent living residence in the world specially created for the deafblind.
When I lost my vision, I lost my good independence.
Strejko can hear a bit using his cochlear implants, but became blind some years ago due to Usher's syndrome. But he still leads an active life, going to the gym, traveling, and even cooking for himself. That's why the special features in his building are so helpful in maintaining his independence. Things like fire alarms linked to his cochlear implants, special lighting to reduce dark patches, and raised or braille markings.
Same with the stoves. We would have raised print and braille on all of the handles so that the individual would know what temperature and what burner they're using.
These features and more will be incorporated into a new residence for the deafblind being built by the Canadian Helen Keller Centre. Shovels recently went into the ground.
We're building a 56-unit apartment building in the Etobicoke area.
But for Strejko, it's not just the physical facility, but the intervener services that go along with the building that are so valuable in allowing him to live life to the fullest.
I watch sports with interveners. So, for example, last Sunday I watched the Grey Cup, and they're telling me exactly what's happening. Toronto Argos, yay!
The new building will include a training facility to teach new residents how to manage daily activities. Ontario's deafblind population is nearing 250,000, and there's an urgent need for affordable, accessible housing. They hope to open the new apartments in July of 2025. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Some major changes are coming to the site of a former downtown transit hub. The Toronto Coach Terminal was decommissioned in 2021 with intercity bus traffic moved to Union Station. But the city still owns the land at 610 Bay Street and 130 Elizabeth Street. It announced today the area will be transformed into a mixed-use hub, including residential, retail, and public spaces, as well as some new services for the surrounding community. And those planned residential towers will include 873 rental units, approximately one-third affordable. Toronto Paramedic Services will open a new 23,000 square foot hub to increase emergency support in this area. And University Health Network intends to open a state-of-the-art organ repair center there. Construction is expected to be completed through 2029 and 2030.
Dramatic developments in an Illinois court as it overturned actor Jussie Smollett's conviction on charges of staging an attack against himself. Back in 2019, the Empire actor claimed two men assaulted him in downtown Chicago while spouting racial and homophobic slurs. Prosecutors allege he paid the pair to carry out the attack. Smollett was convicted of 5 counts of disorderly conduct in 2021. But today, the Illinois Supreme Court said those charges were invalid after an earlier deal with prosecutors. Smollett has maintained his innocence, although today's ruling did not weigh in on those claims.
Chris Stapleton was one of the big winners at the Country Music Association Awards, taking home honors, including Song of the Year.
White Horse!
It's a good song. Stapleton walked away with that award and 3 others, including Male Vocalist of the Year. Lainey Wilson won for Female Vocalist of the Year, while fellow country star Morgan Wallen was named Entertainer of the Year, although he was absent from the ceremony in Nashville.
Just ahead, Raptor fans will also be downtown tonight as the team takes on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Scotty Barnes is expected back in the lineup. We have a preview.
We recognize that Canadians are hurting, even though the Canadian economy is getting better.
Updating our top stories, the federal Liberals are planning to temporarily remove federal tax on restaurant meals and some consumer goods as of mid-December. Canadians who earned up to $150,000 last year will also receive one-time payments of $250, following a similar rebate pledge from the province.
I saw the kid, I knew the dad, and you know, it really got to me.
Toronto police have charged the mother of a baby boy who died yesterday after being found with critical injuries at a Midtown apartment building. The 4-month-old was pronounced dead in hospital. 30-year-old Karessa Edwards faces a count of failure to provide the necessaries of life. She made a virtual court appearance from hospital today.
The real big notice is on foreign spend. So a lot of people are coming to Toronto.
And a Moneris report shows Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concerts in Toronto last week were accompanied by a big boost in local spending. This comes as Swifties arrive at Rogers Centre for tonight's show, including some still hoping to snag last-minute tickets. The music superstar also has shows tomorrow and Saturday.
And remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
Canadian stocks hit a new record today, boosted by transport stocks. Andrew Bellabian in Bloomberg has the details in business.
Hello there. Toronto's benchmark stock index held above 25,000 again today to set a new record closing high. Gains in CN Rail and CP Kansas City fueled the advance, with trucker TFI International and Air Canada also higher. U.S. stocks rose as chip giant NVIDIA gained 1%, although other big tech names slipped. In its quarterly earnings report, NVIDIA said the rush to get new artificial intelligence products out of the door is proving costlier than expected. One analyst said, quote, short term, there's no worry about AI demand. NVIDIA is doing everything they should be doing. The Canadian dollar traded at 71.59 US cents, up a fraction. West Texas Intermediate oil was at $70.10, up $1.35. Western Canadian Select oil at our latest fix was $56.15, down 49 cents. And the TSX Composite ended at its new closing high of 25,390.68, up just over 354 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
A major change took effect for Canadians who have uninsured mortgages, meaning those with a minimum 20% down payment. The federal banking regulator is no longer asking those homeowners to pass a financial stress test if they want to switch to another mortgage provider at renewal. The updated rule only applies to borrowers who aren't adding to their loan period or amount. The change is expected to make it easier for homeowners to shop around for better rates when their mortgage term is up.
The province's Workplace Safety and Insurance Board says it's running a surplus of more than $2 billion. Now the Ford government is planning to return those funds to eligible Ontario employers. The Premier's office says a business with 50 employees could receive $46,000 to reinvest for other purposes. And WSIB premiums will drop next year with no reduction in benefits.
Scotty Barnes appears set to return to the lineup tonight as the Toronto Raptors host Minnesota. Barnes was cleared for contact yesterday and was a full participant at practice. He suffered a right orbital bone fracture in a game against Denver October 28th. The Raptors are coming off their third win of the season after beating Indiana 130-119. That was Monday night to snap a 7-game losing streak.
Meanwhile, the Maple Leafs are down yet another forward. Matthew Nyes is out after taking a big hit last night.
Not bad. I mean, still being evaluated and looked at, but actually feeling okay today, which is good news.
Nyes left the game in the second period after being rocked by Vegas defenseman Zach Whitecloud. There was no penalty called on the hit that was ruled legal.
And to baseball, Aaron Judge has won his second American League MVP award in 3 seasons. The Yankees outfielder was a unanimous pick. He received all 30 first-place votes by members of the Baseball Writers Association of America. Shohei Ohtani is expected to win the National League award, his third MVP and first in the National League.
In Washington, Joe Biden welcomed the 2024 NBA champions to the White House today. The Boston Celtics were honored after winning their 18th title. That is the most in league history. The U.S. president told the team his name among the Secret Service is Celtic because he is Irish. Zarada.
Hi, Michelle. We are live outside of the Rogers Centre where 50,000 Taylor Swift fans are about to have their wildest dreams come true. Taylor Swift about to hit the stage here in just moments. We'll talk to some fans when we return.
Tonight, wanted for alleged war crimes in Gaza. Israel's prime minister and the U.S. reject an international arrest warrant. What Canada's prime minister had to say. We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available to download every weeknight, and a special friendship bracelet swap to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Won't be long now. Taylor Swift about to hit the stage at Rogers Centre for night 4 of her 6-show run right here in Toronto.
The fan frenzy's been intense, the anticipation lasting for months. Our Zarada Allman and Jessica Smith have been reporting live from outside Rogers Centre for us tonight, spending time with Swifties.
Yeah, Nathan and Michelle, we were talking earlier about the legions of fans who were not able to get tickets. Well, we have a group with us here right now. But first, we're going to talk about the weather forecast, Jess. I know it's cold. The weather, the temperature's dropped a little bit, but I don't think Swiftie fans are feeling it.
The weather is not great, but I don't think anybody cares all that much. But the good news is it is seasonal. It just feels so cold in comparison to how warm it was. But the good news is we're staying dry for the folks heading into the show and for the folks still trying to get tickets.
There we go. And we have some fans here who are just happy to be here, feeling the vibe. What's your name?
Emily.
And what's your name?
Avery.
Okay, favorite Taylor Swift song?
This Is Me Trying. I Did Something Bad.
And I feel like we have some favorite eras. Do we have a favorite era?
Reputation. Me too, Reputation.
And what about you? What's your favorite era?
Oh my god, I'm gonna say Lover.
Okay. Those are some good ones. I think Reputation's my favorite. I think that one's my favorite. I had to dress like that.
Are you guys having fun?
Yes.
Has it been a fun vibe down here, just hanging out with Swifties? Okay, we know we love Taylor Swift music and we love her songs. Are we going to sing this out as we head back to the studio? Are we ready, guys? 3, 2, 1.
James Dean daydream, look in your eyes, and I got that
That's it from the Rogers Centre. Send it back inside.
Not so fast. Let's listen.
You know what? That's a gorgeous rendition. Well done, girls. Thank you so much. That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sachinina tonight at 11 for CTV Natural News, followed by Zarada Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, coverage continues on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jess Smith, Zarada, the whole team here, have a great night. Thanks for watching.